Audio video back on. Are you with us? You can hear us and see us.
I'm here.
That's it then. I'll call to order this regular meeting of the Monroe County Solid Waste Management District's Citizens Advisory Committee. It is the Thursday of February 16th. We are at 6:09 p.m. following our Board of Directors meeting. Will the Vice Chair please call roll?
Joe Winnian,
Here.
John Arnold,
Present.
Brian Conway,
Here.
Brian Edwards here, Bill Goins.
Yep.
Bradley Lucas
Here.
and Paul White.
Here. Forum, thank you all for being present, both meetings. Worked out pretty well. Get started. Thanks for away. So today's agenda, which is shown on the screen share, was distributed by email in the packet on Monday, 13th. Are there any objections? Tom, you have a hand raised.
I do just a point of order for the purposes of voting. Ryan Edwards is not visible in the screen.
I'll move.
There she is.
There we go, there we go.
Need a new wide angle camera.
Drag everything back together. So are there any objections to adopting the agenda as distributed and shown on the screen share? All right, seeing none, the agenda is adopted. Go into our first order of business, which is approval of meeting minutes for January 9th regular meeting. They were included in the packet as well. Questions? All right, seeing none, those are approved. Go ahead to reports, starting with district, if you would for us, Tom.
Yep, I got kind of alluded at the joint meeting, and for those that didn't catch the board meeting last week, we have hired a waste reduction specialist. Her name is Kayla Strand. She is scheduled to start on March the 6th. I just really impressed when we interviewed with her. I'm excited to get her started and see what she can do with this position and where she takes it. So looking forward to getting her up and running on that. As far as the district goes, that's again, happy to expand or answer any questions, but in the included in the meeting packet and discussed at the board meeting last week, there's some three key dates coming up for the district related to some of our contracts and agreements regarding our materials handling and our host fee. The first being May 1st of this year. Our current recycling and transportation agreement for public services, the initial term expires. That will automatically renew. At this point, neither entity had provided the proper notice to stop that from renewing, so the term does automatically renew. And then once the initial term starts, at any point during that initial term, any party can provide a 120-day notice to opt out of the agreement. The second, I guess I back up. The first in order, the first date coming up that's important to us is the Rumpke's new facility is, and Mr. Goins can obviously add to this if he needs to, but the last report I got, construction was going well, and the facility is on schedule to open the end of March, beginning of April, which is in line with the original timeline that they were discussing. So obviously excited to have that additional opportunity for recycling and waste open up in the county. And then the last date is October of 2024. That is when our solid waste disposal agreement with Republics, the initial term of that expires. It's 20-year initial term. That's the agreement that contains our host fee. And there are renewal options in that, but they're not automatic. They have to be by mutual agreement of both parties. And with the second facility opening up in the county, not real sure what's going to happen with that, and you know what Republic's stance is going to be on continuing that host fee or not. A lot of that's going to depend on what sort of arrangement we get in place with Rumpke when it opens. So, those were noted. I also highlighted a number of pieces of legislation that are of interest to solid waste districts and or public entities in general. I guess the one is more specific to solid waste districts that I think that all the solid waste districts seem kind of excited about. There is a bill that's proposing a study committee to look at the decommissioning and disposal of solar panels. Just kind of excited that they're actually being proactive about that at the state level, because I don't think that any of the existing solar arrays are near end of life yet, but that will be coming up in the next 5 to 10 years. And so the state looking at putting together a plan on how to decommission and repurpose, recycle, reuse, or properly dispose of the materials from the solar arrays. That's good news for districts. We're excited to see them doing that, being proactive to get something that's potentially hazardous properly handled. So, there's just some other bills out there that have to do with electronic meeting recording and archiving. That's going to be applicable to all all public meetings in general. The one change that's occurred to that, I think I highlighted at the meeting, they did change, slight language change in that the initial language, those rules would have applied to the CAC. The language change exempts groups like the CAC out from that. Our board would definitely be included in those recording and archiving rules. Still waiting for some clarification on whether or not a body like our executive committee would be included in those rules. But off the top of my head, I can't think of anything else real pertinent. It's changed in those bills since I made the report, but if anybody has any questions or anything on any of that, I'd be happy to answer them.
Thank you, Tom. Any questions? I have one, if I may. Is the Rumpke agreement that you mentioned, the disposal agreement that expires in 2024, is there information on that agreement available anywhere, or is that a strictly internal agreement?
Say it again.
Is there information on that agreement available somewhere, or is that just internal between the two parties?
The agreement itself should be available for download off of our website.
Oh, okay.
If it's not, if you can't find it, let me know. We'll obviously get that fixed, and I can email it directly to you if you need me to.
Okay, sounds great. Thank you. All right, seeing no other questions, thank you for the report, Tom. We'll go to reports from the chair. I do not have anything to report.
That was easy.
Quick. We also don't have reports from special committees. We don't have any special orders. That brings us to our unfinished business and general orders. Something is from our last meeting. We had a first reading of what we determined was the first reading of the amendments for our bylaws. They were reviewed by the board, and there were a couple of changes proposed that was provided in the packet. And it is in a slightly different format than the first version that I provided, with the changes highlighted in yellow. They are now in a red line format where all of the edits are red and items that are removed are struck out. Hopefully you've had a chance to review them. It is all the same things. I guess the board was satisfied with all the changes that we proposed and made a couple of additional recommendations, and Tom actually did as well. And those changes were to just add the written form of any numerals that appeared in the bylaws, which is, I think, just a good practice. Appreciate the recommendation for it. And then there were two other items. One was for resignation being changed from submission to the board of directors to just the executive director of the district. So that is our primary point of contact. And the district in general, anyway, it's a simplified. So that's one of those changes by the board. And there were a couple of casing capital letter fixes. And one more, actually, I should probably share my screen so you can see it. Well, real time. Is that okay? So there was a slight change to just the structure of the frequency and date of meetings since the way it was taken out of the updated resolution 2023-02 from the district. I had changed, I think I changed the format and it was structured to better reflect the actual format from their resolution. And then the last one was another recommendation about notification for meetings to make sure that in our time limits that we exclude holidays and weekends. So those are the requirements for the Indiana policy. So it's no less than 4 days excluding holiday weekends, so that we don't come too close to the 48 hours of notice. And for the extra cushion as well, or for being able to find the notice to the outlets that then make the reports into the news outlets. So those were the changes that were added in addition to the ones that we had proposed. So we can either move to adopt the full resolution as, or the full set of amendments as provided by the board as well, or and then we can discuss if there's any changes that are cited to those changes. I guess for sake of a second reading, I will do instead of reading this all in, read just the resolution portion. Give me just a second. So show it on screen shares. So this is resolution 2023-01 to update bylaws. Or it should be to amend bylaws. I'm sorry, this is the biggest. So let me pull up the updated one. Actually, Tom, if I may ask, was that included in any of the revisions that you had provided? I know we had discussed this one, and I think we had exchanged just the bylaws themselves without the whereas clauses.
Let's see. I've got it up. Do you want me to share my screen?
Actually, yes, if you would, that would be splendid.
That look right?
There it is. Yes, that's the one. This is to amend the Citizens Advisory Committee bylaws. So whereas the Monroe County Solid Waste Management District adopted resolution 2023-02, resolution to replace resolution 90-1 to establish a Citizens Advisory Committee for the Monroe County Solid Waste Management District, January 12, 2023. And whereas the Monroe County Solid Waste Management District Advisory Committee bylaws adopted via resolution 2021-02. To adopt bylaws on December 16, 2021, which references district resolution 90-1. And whereas district resolution 2023-02 contains modifications in addition to the establishment of the Citizen Advisory Committee, which supersede resolution 90-1. And whereas the CAC bylaws should accurately reflect the updated criteria and parameters established in CAC as outlined in resolution 2023-02. And whereas the review of the bylaws provide the opportunity to make general improvements. Now therefore, the CAC hereby resolves to adopt the amended bylaws as provided herein. Those are the proposed amendments and the full presentation. Now, good time to propose to adopt. So moved.
So second.
Right, we have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion to adopt the bylaws as including suggestions from the district? So is there any discussion?
I would, before you guys vote, and I missed it if you had indicated this, but just to be clear, because it is saying the bylaws, the district legal counsel, Lee Baker, also reviewed these and did not have any issues with the proposed revision.
That's right, thank you, Tom. All right,
I'll make a motion to approve the things.
right, I think we have our motion and our second.
Oh, sorry.
Okay, so I think with Tom's additions for. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, say no. All right, motion passes. We have updated bylaws.
Now we have to sign that paper.
We will have to sign it. We do not need to do a roll call since they're all physically present. Sorry. Okay, I will print off the signature sheet for our next meeting. And then. Thank you for that, everyone. Glad to have that dated. That completes our first item of business on the agenda. The 5-year management plan review, which was because it was to be tabled from our last meeting to this meeting, doesn't necessarily mean that we need to perform that review now in the spend on it. But since it was tabled for this meeting on this agenda, we want to do something else with it, we can move to do that another time. But that is on the agenda, so we can open it up for discussion. Note that I think that since we just decided at our joint meeting that we will be having. Yes, an official joint meeting to discuss this with the board of directors. Since that would like forum from the. Then table it again, or just move to definitely just take up our review of the plan, same time as the board.
I like that.
All right. That sounds good. Would you like to formalize that?
How he said.
We have a motion to postpone. The plan review of that.
Okay.
So,
Second.
all right, so there's a motion and second discussion. You've done, those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, say no. All right. I'll do that unanimously, so we will take up our review of the 5-year management plan with the board. And suppose we have any further discussion after review. That concludes our unfinished business and general orders. Anyone have any items of business that were not already proposed? There aren't any, I do have one, particularly following up on the secretary nominations from last meeting. We had Brian Conway, who accepted the nomination. Secretary has an interest in having a co-secretary. You know, in particular, John Arnold, you were not present at our last meeting, so you did not have the
opportunity to participate in the election process. And because we have co-secretary clauses, the desire for co-secretary support, it'd be worthwhile to see what your stance was on a potential co-secretary position.
Oh, that's fine if you want me to do it.
All right, I would then move to appoint you as a, well, maybe I'll ask a different question. Would you be interested in co-secretary or full secretary?
Yeah, co-secretary, yeah, I love recycling and I promote it really good in my neighborhood. I just have a hard time keeping up with their. This to do in my life, so rather than co-secretary, rather than. Full secretary.
Understood. In that case, I will move to appoint John Arnold as a co-secretary. Right, there's a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? All right, seeing none, we can take a vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. Right. Very good. Thank you. Yeah, we now have two co-secretaries. Thank you both for your efforts.
Let's see, and who's the other one?
So,
You.
right next to you. So one thing I would like to do, just for everyone's edification in general, on this topic is just show that there is in the CAC Dropbox. There's meetings for the screen share just a moment. There is a template file that for secretary work. So essentially, secretary. Everyone to be aware in general, the CAC Dropbox for meetings, there's a template file. Essentially, all the content that is required for Robert's rules is already filled in. So you just basically need to update the date, time, and then what everyone's attendance status is. And add if there are any motions, essentially. There are points for notes about each section, but the secretary's role does not actually require reporting any notes. It's just attendance, motions, and for results. So that's what is the minimum essential required items. So if anybody ever needed to fill in the secretary role, it's really all done. That's just a nice thing to have reference, but because everything is video recorded, archived, they don't really have the same specificity that they have in the past. So just so everyone is aware, if there's anything that anyone needs to be a secretary, I'm sure that's what there is. That's what it entails. So that is the only item of business that I had.
I do have some curiosity, Tom. What are the types of hazardous materials that are in the solar arrays?
That's a good question, and off the top of my head, I can't answer that, but I can get that information and get that distributed to the CAC.
And we know that in mercury vapors, you know, light bulbs, it's mercury, that's why we take them there.
Yeah,
So,
I'm not sure that we're talking about anything like mercury or asbestos. It's more electronic components. The same types of concerns you would have with any type of electronic waste.
okay. I mean, I see them going up. And since I've seen them go up, I want, what in the world was in there that's causing this sun to make an electrical charge or whatever to run things, so. That's why I said it's a curiosity.
I will get that information and get that distributed to you all.
Thank you, Tom.
Thank you.
Any other items? All right, seeing none, that would bring us to public comment. I don't see any members of the public in the room or on Zoom. Tom, unless you see any that I'm not privy to.
Nope, there is nobody on Zoom attendance other than Kat.
All right, perfect. All of them, that brings us to our last item to adjourn. Are there any objections? All right, adjourn. Thank you, everybody.
Thanks, Tom.
Thank you. Sorry for the confusion on the joint meeting stuff.
All right, thanks for helping get it straightened out. Thank you very well. Have a good night.
You too. Night, everybody.